Hi, I'm Hope Witkowski, your host of Senior Scene. Do you remember when your mother said, "Stand up straight"? Well, that command makes more sense today than it did the day you were born. Good posture leads to a healthy back. Today, we're going to visit the Sharp Treatment Center to learn all the techniques on how you can have a strong and healthy back. Viola Herrera deals with chronic back pain, and while she hasn't sustained any one particular injury, she comes here to see Dr. Andrew Morris for her monthly adjustment and some pain relief.
I am 79 years old in April. I will be 80 next April, 14. I believe I keep healthy because I've always been healthy. I've played sports as a youth. I always walked. I rode bicycle, whatever came with my age and where I lived. When we moved up to the hill, I could not ride the bike because it's up and down, so I started walking. So this is a daily thing. Your body needs this all your life, not just when. But now I come to keep me from being in pain.
Viola's busy work schedule keeps her on her feet all day, and over the years she learned what not to do to avoid injuring her back.
Right now, I own a restaurant, a Mexican restaurant, Don Rogelio's Tex-Mex restaurant in the barrio. So believe me, it is not easy. Up and down stairs, not a lot of stairs, 4 or 5 stairs, 2 stairs, whatever, back and forth, back and forth. And no, I do not lift because I know better. Lifting is not good for you. I have someone that will come lift. I just tell them to do it. Because you know that if you lift, and I'll give you an example. Right now I'm hurting a little bit on my shoulder, and I say, why? I remember. I said, no, I can lift this one. I can do it, because we used to do it. And I did it. Well, last night my arm was hurting. I shouldn't have lifted it. That's part of, we got to learn that at certain ages you shouldn't be doing this stuff if you want to feel good.
Dr. Andrew Morris, a Torrance chiropractor, says older patients often come in for injuries to their back. They can get a chiropractor to use careful, directed, and controlled pressure to eliminate back pain.
What we provide here is passive therapies and modalities that will help to increase circulation and blood flow to the area. Your blood carries all the amazing nutrients of the body that will help heal and get rid of inflammatory reactions. And so by stimulating circulatory vessels of the spine using electric muscle stim, ultrasound, massage, heat, ice, we are able to bring good health and vitamins and minerals and all the good things of the body from the blood to the joints to prevent the inflammatory reactions. As you prevent the inflammatory reactions, then the joint will feel healthier. And as it feels healthier, you'll feel like you can move more and be in less pain.
While older seniors are more likely to get back pain, baby boomers aren't immune from these problems.
I was having problems sleeping, and that was a big deal for me. You know, I couldn't feel normal without getting enough rest, and it was the back pain.
The doctors stressed sleep positions have a big effect on bringing on back pain. Vivian Espinoza, another patient of Dr. Morris, says while she prefers to sleep on her stomach or side, she realized it was causing her a lot of back pain. Dr. Morris advised her to sleep on her back to relieve this problem.
I put a large pillow and have my legs propped up under my knees, and I found out that it does relieve a lot of the pressure on my back.
The electric muscle stimulating machines is used with patients like Vivian to stimulate the muscles and make them loosen up. Most of the patients start with this treatment before they work with the doctor and the trainers.
I get EMS, and I also heat and on a roller table, micro decompression, and he has directed me to do Pilates and strength training. Those sort of things, and massage.
According to the personal trainer at the Sharp Treatment Center, Exercise and a strong core can help prevent many back injuries and protect you from future injuries. Dr. Morris says it's imperative that with exercise, you must have good posture.
Poor posture will lead to stress of the intervertebral discs. The discs are a ligament that sit in between the bone tissue. As you have poor posture, you increase the stress to the disc. You increase the stress to the discs. The increased stress to the disc will dehydrate them. They will lose the very important water mass that they have, which allows them to stay, to improve motion, to have proper movement and strength. And as the poor posture creates stress onto the disc, they will start to shrink, and that's where you get the degenerative disc disease. Many people, seniors, as they lose their posture positions, they lose the strength of the spine. All of that stress now is bypassing the muscles and going right to their disc. And I'm sure a lot of your audience have heard of the degenerated discs, and those are very, very bad. What we need to do as we improve our posture and our motion is rehydrate those discs. The more we move, the better positions that we're in, the more hydration of the discs so that we can increase their size.
We have heard about posture from our mothers and even school teachers. That posture holds true even when you are going about your daily activities, such as the right and wrong way to lift something that is heavy. Bending from the knees and then holding the item close to your body is always a must.
Well, one of the main reasons why people will come in when their joints inflame and they get hurt is because they've lifted incorrectly. Lifting incorrectly creates tremendous stress to the spine, and if you have an inflammatory reaction that's just beginning in those joints that have degenerated, if you lift incorrectly and you put so much stress on it, it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. And so making sure when you're lifting, if it's lifting something from the floor, we're making sure that we are on top of our object, we're bending at the knees, we're picking it up and keeping it close to the center point of our gravity. We are not reaching out far away, we're not leaning forward, and we never want to twist, bend forward, and lift. That is a terrible position. So a lot of times you'll have people want to take groceries out from the trunk, or you'll have people try to pick up their cat or dog, and they'll bend and twist, pick up the cat, pick up the dog, pick up the grocery from the trunk, and then the joint tears. And then they'll now have an injury that they have to get rehabilitation for. So making sure that they keep objects close to their body, right into their center line of gravity, making sure that they're bending at the knees to get as close to the object that they want to pick up is very, very important.
What does standing up straight really mean? What does it look like? These demonstrations by our doctor's patients show how they learned that they were not keeping their posture in the correct position when they were driving in their cars or working at their computer. Take a look at the bad posture first and then the good second. Vivian remembers when her mother used to tell her to stand up straight. She says it makes her look taller too.
Just because you're a baby boomer doesn't mean that you shouldn't start taking care of your posture now and your back and sitting up straight always.
A good thing to remember when working on good posture is to keep your chin tucked in and your ears over your shoulders.
If we do not maintain good posture, over time, the stress to the joints will thicken the joint, and the joint will go through degenerative arthritic changes. Those degenerative arthritic changes will force the neck into a forward position, and then it will prevent the individual from raising their head up. And so as you walk like this for many, many years, that's why it's very important that you do preventative strengthening, preventative range of motion activities that will allow the joints to move freely so that you don't get stuck and thickened. Once that does happen and there's a degenerative change, that is how you will be for the rest of your life. And so that's why it's very important that baby boomers will start to appreciate the preventative abilities of posture change so that they will basically not allow this degenerative change to happen.
Looking at a skeleton of our backs gives us a better idea of how our spine is not straight but has natural curves.
So the four normal curvatures of the spine starts with the neck. The neck looks like a reverse C, and then as we come down, it reaches a transition point into the mid-back. And then the mid-back curves inward, and then it meets the low back, and it curves out again. And then the sacrum is the last piece, and it's the bottom of the hip area, and it curves back the same way as the mid-back area.
Statistical studies show that practicing good posture and a healthy lifestyle has an amazing effect on our bodies.
There are studies that show that greater than 80% of people suffer from low back pain one point of time in their life. What we do know is that the more healthy, active you are in your earlier years, the far better you'll be able to prevent these degenerative changes from occurring. Now, you'll never prevent them from ever happening, but you will prevent the worst case scenarios for the joints. So the more you do in your early years, the better the joints will be as you age. And so what we'll see is you'll have less degenerative change, less arthritic conditions, and you'll be able to do more and have a healthier life.
Dr. Morris gave us a quick take on a new style of posture and movement.
So for your audience, tips for improving posture, which goes into the age-old stand-up straight, which our parents have been telling us for years, is we want to make sure that our shoulders are rolled back, our chin is pulled back, and when we're standing up, that our palms are facing each other at our side. The minute the hands come in front of us, our shoulders roll, which then allows us to do this, which is not good. So as we roll our shoulders back, our hands should face each other at the side of our bodies, and our chin should be up straight. And in a seated position, which is very important as well, as we discussed, seating positions are very important for the posture. And what I like to do is tell my patients about the law of 90 degrees. If we can keep our knee joint at a 90 degrees, if we can keep our hips at 90 degrees, and we keep our elbows at 90 and arms at 90 degrees, this is an amazing seated position. This will allow strength to the postural muscles and will take stress off the joints, which is what leads to those degenerative arthritic changes, which is why patients are coming in and seeing me because they have these inflammations. So law of 90 degrees while we're sitting, and when we're standing, we're having our shoulders back, palms facing each other at our sides. Those are very important tips for your audience.
Many of our viewers may have jobs that when they are seated most of the day. Dr. Morris suggests that we get up every few hours and walk around the office.
Staying in one position for too long a time is never a good thing. And what happens is, as we're seated, our muscles that have become deconditioned or weakened over time will begin to lose their function. And as that happens, gravity starts to set in and the spine will rotate down. As the spine rotates down, you start to put flexion into the low back, which loads the joints of the spine, they're called facet joints, and loads the SI joints. And that pressure over time creates inflammatory reactions that will eventually lead to pain and arthritis.
Also, staying in one position can lead to lack of mobility of our joints, which cannot be made better by taking a dose of medicine. You are injuring your spine.
If a typical person who injures their spine, as long as it's not a severe injury, typically take about 2 to 3 weeks in order to improve the circulation into the spine, rejuvenate the area, and get the inflammatory reactions gone. So about 2 to 3 weeks, the person will feel, the pain will be gone, the person will feel better.
The biggest complaints that come into Dr. Morris's office is pain in the sacroiliac, which is the lowest portion of the back. He states that most of this comes from not having a spine tilting forward when you're sitting or standing.
Where your lumbar spine transitions into your sacrum, to the right and to the left of that point is the sacroiliac joint. Now the sacroiliac joint has to support the lower spine, and when we start to weaken in our muscular and our postural strength, the stress starts to go to the joints instead of the muscles maintaining the normal position. So as the stress goes to the joints, it inflames, the joint gets arthritic changes, and now when we're standing, when we're sitting, that joint has constant pressure, which will create pain, inflammation, and basically will start to be one of the main problems for the spine.
Perhaps one of the most painful things that can happen as a result of bad posture is not being able to even turn your head to look over your shoulder.
The cervical spine moves forward as you begin to weaken the muscles, and they can no longer control the position and fight against gravity. The head falls forward, and then you get all the stress across your shoulders and the neck, and it's hard to move your arms, and you can't look up well. And so we need to always have range of motion of the spine and the cervical spine to maintain fluidity to never let that happen.
My mother always just said, slap me on the back, stick your tummy in, back straight, what are you bending?
You know, when you heard from your mother time and time again to stand up straight, the logic behind that is you are helping to improve the strength of your postural muscles. Improving the strength of your postural muscles as you stand up straight, as you sit up straight, as you stay in the normal positions are what allow the muscle to maintain the strength so that you do not degenerate the spine, you have less arthritic changes to the areas, and you prevent pain and decrease range of motion for the future. So there was great wisdom in your mother's statement of stand up straight, whether she knew it or not. So that it shows that you're constantly paying attention to your postural positions as much as you can. And although we'll never have perfect posture at all times, as long as we start to put this as a very important aspect in our life, we can make constant corrections and changes that will help to improve strength and the quality of life.
Today you've learned some valuable information from Dr. Morris on how to stand up straight. Remember in your everyday activities to use good posture and protect your back. I'm Hope Witkowski, reminding you that knowledge is a powerful tool. Tune in next time for more secrets on successful aging.